Welcome to Soap Hub Says. I'm Amber Sinclair, managing editor of SoapHub.com.
I'm Alina Adams, Soap Hub writer and author of Go On Pretending, the historical fiction novel where the woman who invented soap operas, Erna Phillips, is a supporting character.
We'll be here every week talking about what we loved, what we hated, and what we have questions about with every show.
And we want to hear from you too. Agree with us? Disagree with us? Tell us in the comments. If we think you have a good point, we'll give you props in our next episode.
I think we need to start this week with General Hospital because the nurses' ball.
Dude, General Hospital finally remembered that it was May sweeps. How can we not? All right. Amber,
everything has come out. Every secret.
Yeah, I have no visual sense. In fact, a director I once worked with called me a visual wasteland. I have no fashion sense. So I'm going to give this one to you. The only thing I'm going to observe is, you know how in the Broadway show Annie, there's a song called You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile? So that look on Drew's face when Michael came in, I don't remember what he was wearing because is really all I remember. So Drew was definitely dressed to impress with the smile or whatever that was on his face. But if we're going to talk about fashion, I'm throwing it to you.
Okay, so I have three categories. I have the best, the worst, and the mess. It's like you were there.
They put on clothes. You know, they didn't come naked, and some effort was made. Hair was brushed.
So my mess are every single dude. But what can you say about a suit?
Well, I mean, they don't have that much choice, do they? I mean, you either wear a tie, it's a bow tie, or it's a straight tie, or you wear an open shirt. But really, in the end, what is there really to choose from?
I mean, they could have thrown some Met Gala-style outfits out, but I mean...
Yeah, who's going to be the Billy Porter of Port Charles? I don't think so.
Right. So for the mess, for the ladies, Alexis just looked like regular Alexis dressed up. Felicia was cute, Anna was cute, Emma was cute, Molly was okay. Joss and Lulu, where did they shop? In like
Well,
Grandma's
remember,
house?
they're very, very busy. Joss is being trained to save the world, and Lulu has a child's life to overturn. So, you know, who has time for shopping?
Maybe they also didn't want their outfits to take away from like what they were doing. Because like Joss reading Drew for filth was one of the greatest moments of the week. Like, she did not hold back. Our girl gave it. She gave it good. Her outfit might not have slayed, but her attitude did.
Maybe it was so that we could focus on them, just like with Willow, who looked fabulous. It was probably because the costume designers knew what was going to happen to her and that she'd be standing next to this.
Yeah, I will say
she needed to wear something that would pull focus from that.
She was my best dressed. And I know that, like, love Willow or hate Willow, that red dress, her, Olivia, Portia, Jordan, and Little Donna really pulled it out. Loved everything they were wearing. My worst, though, Brooklyn's outfit was awful. Christina's was underwhelming. Nina's was just there. And Trina. I love Trina. Please don't take this as a dig to Trina. I love Trina. But that's what they put her in?
Well, all of them were really just, though, in the end, they were just kind of set dressing, set decoration for Michael's return.
Michael's returning trio.
We have Rory Gibson. Oh, did you know that being burned doesn't leave scars?
Right?
That was something that I learned. Now, when I was born in the former Soviet Union, and the thing that you do there for sunburn is you put eggs on because the idea is it pulls the heat out. And he was in a hospital in Europe, wasn't he? So maybe they made lots and lots of scrambled eggs on his face. And now that beautiful face has no scarring. But of course, if you hire Rory Gibson, you don't want to put scars on that face. But here's the thing I was thinking about ever since they cast Rory Gibson. Rory Gibson's last role was Noah on The Young and the Restless. And Robert Adamson, who played Noah before Rory, had actually filled in for Chad Duell in the past. Now, here's the thing. We all know soaps are a very small, incestuous world. Like Wally Kurth and Jane Elliott, they play mother and son now on General Hospital, but they were lovers on Days of Our Lives. So these things happen. But this one, so I have this tiny niggling thought. What if they cast the wrong Noah? What if
we like that guy Noah from Young and the Restless?
Yeah, what if the casting director...
Rory Gibson, and they're like, you know what? Good enough.
Yeah, No, so I have this, and poor Robert Adamson, you got to feel for him. I mean, it's sort of like, not only did they not ask him back, after he really did a good job filling in, he had some major scenes, he really killed it. Not only is he not asked back, but the guy they hire was his replacement on The Young and the Restless. So I hope, this is for you, Robert. If you want to sleep better at night, just tell yourself they hired the wrong Noah. The casting director just, put in the wrong request.
Now, speaking of Noah, we got to talk about him and Audra.
We do. We do. Because when Audra first showed up, the story was they'd been involved in England. Audra was also an artist. Then Audra has had a lot of careers.
Many lives.
About that.
Many lives.
So they were a couple, and the big secret was that she had been pregnant and she miscarried, and Noah wasn't around to support her. Of course, Sharon instantly went to Noah. Let's process your feelings. The dude didn't even know, but let's process your feelings. Audra, I don't know her. I don't care about her feelings. I'm not a therapist. Wait, I am. Never mind. I'm your mother right now. So here is a thought that I have been having. So Audra never does anything spontaneously. Audra does everything for a reason. So what if she lied about the miscarriage? What if she actually did have the baby, but she knew that if she arrived in town with the baby, Victor would just come scoop it up and announce that it was a Newman heir. So please go away, woman, now that you've been the incubator. Thank you for my heir. So she knew she couldn't do that. And I think, what if she's waiting for just the right moment to unveil this secret? And here's the thing. What if Holden knows what it is? Because she and Holden keep going, we have a secret in Los Angeles. I know you. Shh. I know you. Shh. So what if the secret is that she actually has Noah's baby, but she's waiting for just the right moment to make the grand announcement?
Can you imagine Victor's reaction?
Imagine his head exploding and his mustache flying through the streets. Because here's the thing. Victor has been more and more and more unhinged lately. I would like to offer exhibit, I would say A, but it's not A, it's not B. I would like to offer exhibit Z plus 42, that Victor has lost his mind, and that exhibit is Michael. We love Michael. We love Christian J. LeBlanc. He's a great guy, great interview. But for years, I was going to say months, but it's actually years, Michael has been putting Victor ahead of his own needs and interests, and Victor thinks that's not enough.
No, right?
With the most recent thing, when Michael actually wanted to save Victor from being, prosecuted for the teeny-weeny crime of locking a woman up in his basement and torturing her with Brussels sprouts, Michael actually set it up so that Saint Victor, would be protected, and Victor took that as enough. I'm having a very hard time following. Every time he says, you got that? I go, no, I don't get it. I don't understand. What is your thought process? But more importantly, what is Michael's thought process? Because it's not like Michael needs the money. Lauren is an heiress. Lauren owns Fenmore department stores, right? They do something, Sally something, Chloe something.
All that money he's made off Victor over the years, you got to bank some of that, right?
And then today, Victor was saying, well, he'll be bored. Victor, there is law that can be practiced outside of Newman Enterprises. Michael is a lawyer. He can get another job. But this whole thing is...
Work for Jabot.
Yeah, well, if he worked for Jabot, the mustache flies off again. I mean, the man's going to need so many mustaches at this point. But here is my concern, sweet, poor Michael. He's going to go back, isn't he? He's going to be, every time I try to get out, Victor, and he's going to apologize. That's the worst of it. Michael is going to apologize to Victor for not being his obedient servant, and I'm already upset. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm already upset.
I know.
Victor's villainy.
I betrayed you by quitting.
I know. Victor is insanity, but Victor is insane in one way. But can we talk about an insanity I am loving? Which is Leslie on Beyond the Gates.
Okay, everything about that woman is gold.
Yeah,
I
from
would
her
have done her with
nails
my
to
life.
all her wigs, from her nails to all her wigs to her
Everything is
outfits.
gold.
They have really, really struck gold with the actress Trisha Mann Grant. I think she is killing it. She's the quintessential character you love to hate. Like, I don't sympathize for her. There's a lot of villains that I can see things from their point of view. But in her case, yes, she's an awful, awful human being. I mean, the way she's been treating her daughter. And by the way, the actress playing Ava gets literally better every day. It's
Every
like
day.
everyone was green and raw when the show started.
Yeah.
She is getting better every day. It's amazing to see. And I think it's also because they put her against the woman who plays her mother, Trisha Mann Grant, who is absolutely fabulous. But I have this one fear, and that's that she has been pissing off so many people that I feel like if this was a traditional soap, this would be setting up a Who Killed Leslie, because everyone has a motive. And I hope that when Michelle Valjeed wrote her long story, Leslie wasn't supposed to be a short-term villain, because what they have is soap opera gold, and to let her go would just be a bad idea.
Maybe she'll be like the Beyond the Gates Sheila.
Oh, that's true. Every time she comes back, she'll have a different kid.
Right?
But I mean, if she loses a toe, we'll know we're in Sheila. We're in Sheila territory.
Has Sheila ever given birth on camera? Like, my God, where do all these kids come from?
And every time, it's almost like she opens her coat. You know, it's like 3 kids in a trench coat. It's almost like every time Sheila opens her coat. So, I mean, I don't know. So far, Beyond the Gates seems to be trying to be a more realistic soap, perhaps, than The Bold and the Beautiful. But you never know what they have planned. It's still very new. In fact, I'm a little nervous about their upcoming plans. Because from the time the show premiered, we have been told that Anita, played by the amazing Tamara Tooney, is going to have some great story. And last week, they made the statement that Anita's secret is going to be something that has never been seen on daytime before. And I'm concerned because a lot of stuff has happened in daytime. And usually if something hasn't happened in daytime, it's because it can't. Because for whatever reason, because it's not streaming and it's not movies and it's not prime time. So I'm very nervous where they make such a huge sweep. I'm excited. But it's such a huge sweeping statement. And they also keep telling us over and over again that Anita and the 2 women with whom she formed the Articulettes all grew up in Cabrini Green. And Cabrini Green is a real housing project in Chicago. And it was the setting of the 70s TV series Good Times. So my 2 theories about Anita's secret is she grew up next door to James and Florida Evans, and her secret involves a guy who keeps going dynamite. Or, you know what else happened in Cabrini Green? Candyman. That's where Candyman is set. So maybe her secret is that she said Candyman 3 times in the mirror and made a deal with the devil, and the Articulettes were successful. Because that's really the only thing I can think of. Because so far, here's the thing. I've seen Dreamgirls. I haven't seen the Broadway show, but I've seen the movie. And I'm familiar with I'm Telling You I'm Not Going and all of the other things. And I've seen Dreamgirls. I don't want to see Dreamgirls again. And I've been promised that this is going to be something that has never, ever happened on daytime before. So I got to think Candyman.
I kind of hope Candyman. I love that movie, though. Candyman was so fun. It was
so,
horrific.
and as a final thing about Tamara Tooney is we have June, the woman that Jacob and Naomi are working with. When she is questioned about her past, she says her name is Jessica Griffith, and she used to be married to a man named Duncan, and they have a daughter named Bonnie, but then Duncan's wife came back from having her head shrunk, and the minute she said Jessica Griffith, I knew where they were going, even said to my husband, oh, Jessica Griffith is who Tamara Tooney played on As the World Turns. But here's actually my question for the viewers.
Yeah.
Because I'm really curious. I mean, some people really loved it and they said, oh, what a fun little Easter egg. But here's the thing. Now you have to start thinking, so As the World Turns is a show that exists in the reality of Beyond the Gates, because then you have Nicole saying, oh, yes, I always thought that actress looked so much like my mom. Ha, ha, ha. But for me, it kind of pulled me out of the moment.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing about soaps. Crazy things happen on soaps. So you have to suspend a certain amount of disbelief. And when they do things like this, they're pulling you out of it. They're making you think, they're making you go down the rabbit hole. So if As the World Turns, a soap opera that aired on CBS, exists in the world of Beyond the Gates, a soap opera that airs on CBS, and it starts you thinking things that you really shouldn't be thinking. But I really want to hear, and I hope people will answer us in the comments. I hope they'll tell us whether these kind of things are actually fun for you because they remind you of a show that you may have loved and is no longer on the air, or does it suck you out of the reality of Beyond the Gates?
I've had a couple moments with shows that when they mention like a past character from a defunct soap, I'm like, oh. And then other times I'm like, oh, that's so fun.
I mean, the P&G shows did it, especially when As the World Turns went off the air. They mentioned a character on another world, but those we knew were all set in the same universe because characters had traveled, just like Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful are set in the same universe. And, Ashley was on Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila was on the Young and the Restless, so was Eric, but this isn't the same thing.
No, this is different.
This isn't then because Beyond the Gates is a P&G show saying that Naomi called a lawyer named Jessica Griffin. This is June saying that Jessica Griffin is a character on a soap opera. So it's not the same thing.
We need to talk about Bold and the Beautiful.
We
and
do.
Carter's proposal.
And I know you have very strong feelings about that. So go for it, Amber.
Hi, Hope. We've been back together for 37 seconds. Here's a ring.
Yay. I love marriage, except that time Thomas asked me the same thing.
And Hope is like, we've been back together for 37 seconds. And Carter's like, here's a ring?
Well, but do you think they have chemistry? Do you think that this is something that could work?
No. And I'll tell you why. Okay, there's no chemistry on Earth as good as Carter and Quinn. He does have a lot of chemistry with Daphne. I will give them that. Him and Daphne, tons of chemistry. The chemistry is not there for me with Carter and Hope. It was there with Carter and Quinn. So much chemistry. And with Hope, okay, Annika Noel, Lawrence St. Victor and Annika Noel are really good, and they can have chemistry with just about anybody. Like, there is some chemistry there, but it's not that hot, heavy, passionate chemistry he had with Quinn and she had with Thomas.
So we're thinking, Lois on General Hospital is due to, flee the crime scene any minute now. Well, one can hope that at least someone yells at her because remember what she did was she took her daughter, her teenage daughter, who said, I want my baby adopted and I don't want to be around it. She didn't even want to know if it was a boy or a girl. She was surprised when Lulu told her that. And then Lois just did what she wanted to anyway. I hope someone yells at her, and it doesn't actually have to be Dante. It could be Brooklyn. It could be somebody else because on top of all the, Brooklyn didn't tell Dante and Cody didn't tell Dante and all of that. But let's remember that in that whole scenario, the only grown-up was Lois, and Lois did not follow her daughter's wishes, which is what makes me think she might want to take a little leave of absence from poor Charles. And where could Rena Sofer go? Amber, where could Rena Sofer go?
Maybe Quinn and Thomas come and break up the wedding.
Two people.
That's never been done on soaps before.
Right, exactly. Talk about I try to never say never on soaps because it's not like I've seen every show that ever happened. We've had plenty of stories with one person breaking up the wedding. Do you remember Brooke breaking up one of Ridge's many weddings on a horse? She comes in leading a horse. She's all bedraggled and she has a horse. And it's like, I object. So we've had lots and lots of stories of one person breaking up the wedding, but two people? Maybe that's what they're promising. I don't know. But here's my question to you, though. You say they have great chemistry, but are Quinn and Carter, do they have any long-term potential, or is this
No, Carter wants a baby. Quinn's not really, she could, in soap opera world, give him a baby.
Yeah.
In real life, they're adopting.
Yeah. But you think they actually could go the distance?
I don't think Quinn will ever calm down enough to be with somebody as solid as Carter.
So what do you like about them? What do you like about them in particular then?
Oh, they're just so hot together. Oh my God. Like they fit. They fit so well.
So they could just do nonstop hookups.
Yeah. They should just do nonstop hookups until Carter finally figures out that he should be with Daphne.
Oh, okay. That's a story.
Daphne would be the perfect wife. She's hot. She's successful. She's within childbearing age, which is what he wants. Essentially, he wants a child. Why doesn't no one on soaps get the baby they want?
No, but the people who don't want a baby, so many babies.
So many babies. So many. All Carter's ever wanted is a child.
Which is also a little odd. I mean, we have like a lot of women characters who get obsessed with babies, to the point where it's called baby rabies and they go nuts.
Yeah.
But for a woman or a man, the only thing you want is a child is also a little weird, don't you think?
Like, as a mom, no, you don't.
Well, no, it's not that. You have kids, I have kids. I'm very fond of my kids. You're very fond of your kids.
Kids.
But to have that be the only thing in your life isn't really great either.
Like, my dude, you were hot with a great career.
So, but speaking of kids, let's actually move over to Days of Our Lives, because suddenly we got so many kids. I mean, Ari's back. The actress seems to be doing a nice job. But here's my concern, and I'd have one. So, first of all, she snuck out at night, and Gabby is acting like she's a 4-year-old who crawled out of her crib. She's losing her mind. Okay.
After I covered my mouth to keep from laughing, because I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. Because I'm the same.
So,
did she sneak out, or is she an adult?
Yeah, and she kept telling us she's 18. A lot of in today's episode, like 2 people told us they were 18. Sophia said she was 18, and Ari said she was 18, and I do think Holly turned 18 a while ago. So they would all really like us to know that we're 18. But here's the issue with Ari. She's only been on a couple of days, and I know we're supposed to think she's the bad girl, but she hasn't really done anything bad. Okay, she snuck out of the house, and her mom really overreacted. And okay, she hooked up with Doug, but no shaming. It was just like, it's not like, she drugged him or did anything like that. So
it's not like she's like Chanel and got him really drunk and married him for the money.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't do any of that. Thank you. Excellent point. So, which got me to thinking, where is my Days of Our Lives vixen? Where is my Sammy? Where is the girl who sells her baby sister on the black market? Where is the woman who dresses up as a man to stalk her boyfriend? Where is my Sammy? Because, okay, Ari is a little bad, and she is Sammy's granddaughter. But on the other hand, we have Holly, the daughter of Nicole. Spitfire, Nicole. And she's like, her big storyline is she's helping Doug get his GED. Really? That was her last scene? That was so riveting. And on the other hand, we have Sophia, who at least came on as a bit of a vixen. Again, not because she slept with Tate, no shaming, but because she was super clear to Holly, oh, I want your boyfriend. And she was snide. And she was like, oh, you're not sleeping with him. Well, of course, you're going to lose him. That's what I. But now she's a victim. Now, we just mentioned we both have kids, so you've been pregnant, I've been pregnant. It's not really fun. I'll give you that.
It's not the best time in the world.
Yeah, it's not the best time of your life. Maybe it's not your most vixenish time period, but it's like she has lost all of her fire. She has lost all of her sparks, so she's a sweet victim. Holly is teaching poetry to Doug, and Ari is just sneaking out. And really, this is our bad girls. Like you said, where's our Chanel? But that generation doesn't have a bad girl either, because Chanel is now literally in the kitchen. They say go back to the kitchen.
Literally in the kitchen trying to have a baby.
Yeah, again, and we're back to that's her only interest. She wants to have a baby. She wants to have a baby. She wants to have a baby. And here's the story.
And that's the baby rabies.
Yeah, that's like all that she is about. And then talk about an opportunity we missed. We had Allie. We had Sammy's daughter. But they bring Allie on, and not only is she Sammy's daughter, she's Kate's granddaughter. Let's not forget that.
The grandchild of Kate, the daughter of Lucas and Sammy, and you're telling me she doesn't have a bad bone in her body?
First she comes on and she's already pregnant, which so limits her choices. Why would you bring on your ingenue and saddle her with a baby? And then on top of which she was date raped, so she's a victim, and she hangs around for a couple of years. Yeah, she sleeps with Chanel. But again, that's not a bad thing. In fact, that's just a thing. And yeah, they have the menage a trois with Alex, but that's not bad. That's naughty. I don't even think it's that. But so we lost her. So here's what I gotta say. They've just said that Sammy and Sydney are trying to come to Salem for John. Oh my God, Sydney is our last hope.
I know.
Can we please have
one of Sammy's children need to be like Sammy?
Yeah, and Johnny ain't it. Even when he was possessed by the devil, he wasn't as bad as Sammy.
Johnny was the most caring and loving devil Salem has ever had.
Wow, that's a plaque. That's something else that hasn't been done in daytime. The kindler, gentler devil, Johnny DiMera.
Like, yeah, he doesn't have it in him to be evil. And how? You're the child of Sammy and
Yeah. No, he's also good. Everyone's so good. Everyone's so good there now. But, if we're talking about not Sammy, Sydney. Sydney, you're our only hope. We got to address the fact that if Sydney and Sammy do make it, it's going to be for John's death. And here's something I have to say. So
We have a lot of thoughts on this one.
Yeah, Drake Hodgeston, wonderful man. One of the nicest people. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a bad interview or a bad interaction with him. I think because he used to be a professional baseball player, I think he was very team days of our lives, team spirit, what's good for one is good for all. Wonderful, wonderful man. Passed away last year, in December of last year. I know Days tapes really far in advance, but when he left the show, they pretty much knew he wasn't coming back. Pancreatic cancer isn't something you come back from. So the fact that they've been teasing us with this false hope of John's going to come back, John's going to reunite with Marlena, it's kind of cruel. I think it's cruel to the fans. It's cruel to the actors who have to play this. It's like in the last Star Wars movie when Carrie Fisher was dead and they just cobbled together some old footage. They had a scene where her daughter Billie Lourd, had to play a scene with Princess Leia dying. I know. It's like, anyone think this might not be good for her? And that's the same thing here. They could have and then they brought in the guy in the hoodie.
Why not have Marlena fly out to John?
Yeah.
And then come back with
he's on the plane home, and then Paul gets the call that the plane was downed because they were doing some ISA stuff. To bring in this doppelganger, this man in a hoodie to sound throaty? I mean, how insulting to Drake and to John and everything else. So
awful.
Not feeling it.
They did this with John Aniston's death, too. Like, they just, at least they had him die.
Well, at least they killed him off camera. Yeah. They just
said they had, like, the whole brain thing and the computer chip and, like, these men
on the other
have been
hand,
in the show for so long and their legacy should be protected. And both John Aniston and, like, Drake Hodgeston, their character should have died in the arms of the women they loved.
Or at least have them tell us that. Have Marlena come back and say, yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we soap hub giveth and soap hub taketh away. So we've taketh away. Now we're going to giveth. The stuff with Bo. And here's the other thing. They're playing Bo's story and John's story at the same time. That's kind of dark. But I did love the flashbacks. I am such a sucker for flashbacks. Show me a flashback, because that's the beauty of soaps. When someone says this happened 40 years ago, you don't have to give me a gauzy flashback with the actor in a bad wig and bad makeup saying, I am 40 years younger, like they did on the CW all the time. So great to see the wedding stuff. So great to see the wedding stuff. So great to see the flashbacks. Although I had to laugh when Hope said something about how they've been together for 40 years. Sweetheart, it's been 40 years since you got married. But I don't think you've been together for more than a couple of years at a time. She's dead. He's
all
dead.
those other men we were married to, dear Hope.
Him and Billy, and he's had other love interests as well. So overall, I would give the scenes an A. It was great to see Bo and Hope. But teeny weeny itty bitty question: wasn't Bo in a coma in Greece? They kept telling us in Greece when Hope came for Doug's funeral. She could only be there for a little while because she had to go back to Greece to be at Bo's bedside. So was Sean and Hope, were they apparating between Greece and Salem? Did they move Bo to Salem? They didn't even change clothes. It was over a commercial break. It's not like they even said we flew all night. And here we are in Greece. Marlena was still in the same place and in the same clothes. And they were in Greece. What happened? I am so confused.
God. That kills me. I'm like, how fast are your planes?
Well, even if they said the ISA was shushing them back and forth, Marlena was in the same place as Lakewood. So overall, great. Flashbacks, good. Confused I am about Greece. But I'm confused about the distance between Salem and Greece.
Right? Overall, though, like, this whole week with soaps has been actually really good.
Yeah, it's been great. It's like they all remembered it was May Sweeps, not just General Hospital, all of them.
I will say, even like B&B, that's been a little bit slow with Liam's death. I mean, everything's been good this week. Or last week.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
I know, right? Well, that's it for now. I'm Amber Sinclair, managing editor of Soap Hub. You can find me here every week or on TikTok with the tag username Destroy the Canvas, where I showcase my little illustrative art.
And I'm Alina Adams. My soapy historical fiction novel, Go On Pretending, is available now wherever books are sold. Check it out on alinaadams.com.
And we'll see you guys next week. And if you like what you heard today, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure to check out soaphub.com and read all of our fun articles, recaps, and best of all, spoilers.